Hello, I'm Kat and this is 10 minutes long. And today I thought I would introduce you to some stuff that I just can't live without, to the point where I think everybody should have it. So first is a hob scraper. It's called a hob scraper because you're supposed to use it to, like, if you've got a ceramic hob, you're supposed to use it to just like scrape crap off the hob. Can confirm it does that. Just do that very well. It's cheap as chips. This one costs like £3 or something. I've had this for yonks and yonks. Even though it's plastic, it's quite rigid, and it's easy enough to change the blade. But like, seriously, the amount of things I've used this for is not even funny. Like, I've used it as a hob scraper, but like when I moved in, there was some like old sellotape stuck to the like work surface. I was able to get that off by scraping it. I used it to take all of the bath sealant off my bath. Um, just like anything really that just requires like a scrape. It's just like, you'd be surprised how much stuff that is. I use it to take labels off glass bottles. When I was doing my window and I got some labels stuck on the window, I used it to take that off super easy. So it's really good. I mean, because of the way that it's set like this, when you use it as a scraper, this blade is at exactly the right angle to enable you to scrape stuff off without damaging it. It's kind of like a way of scraping this blade along a surface without getting deep scratches in it. I've used it to clean out the bottom of my oven, to clean like burnt on stuff off my oven. Like, just seriously, the applications are endless. The only thing you have to be careful of is that these corners sometimes will dig in. So if you're really like going to town, the corners might dig in. But this is one of those things I bought where I was kind of like, oh, it's a bit of a frivolous spend just to like make the hob look nice. But seriously, it has been ridiculously useful. And if it broke, I would cry and immediately buy a new one. The second thing is, this is a glass cloth, and it's relatively cheap. You can buy them. This one was from Sainsbury's, again, just like a couple of quid. I My mum told me about these because I was moaning that I was cleaning like my microwave and my kettle and things like that, like shiny black plastics. And when I was drying that with a tea towel, it was leaving all these like little tiny white flecks. And I was just like, I did not clean this just to get white flecks all over it. Thank you. So I was starting to get a little bit annoyed, as you do. And my mum was like, you need a glass cloth. And that's so I went out and bought one. I've now got four, and yeah, they're just great for anything that is shiny, that just is kind of like, it gives it a bit of a polish. So if you've got any stainless steel, any black plastic, even glass, it does. Basically anything you want to dry or to like give a nice polished finish to it without leaving lint on it, it's basically a lint free cloth. Like I say, this one was cheap and inexpensive from Sainsbury's. You can get more expensive ones, but these wash like a rag. Like, I keep these on the go all the time. I've always got one on the go. Next is this bottle of PVA glue. Now mine has seen better days and I do need a new bottle, judging by the what looks like mold in there. I don't know. But this is one of those things that I purchased for just a random project. And I was like, I'm probably not going to need this much glue. I'm probably only going to need like this much glue. But I've actually used like this much. Just never underestimate when you might need a dab of glue. And this is great because obviously PVA glue leaves like that sort of plastic sheen on stuff. So if you need to seal something, it's really good at doing that. Dries fairly quickly, doesn't stain, you can get it off your hands pretty fast. It's better than glue sticks because it doesn't dry out as fast. It's cheap, inexpensive, and just like, if you need glue, it's just a really good one. And like, wood glue as well is generally just PVA glue, so it's kind of like if you're putting furniture together, and you've got those like dowels that just go into holes and you don't plan on moving or taking the furniture apart, that's an important aspect of this, then just, bung in a dab of glue and it helps to give it a little bit more rigidity. Check me out saying that so early in the morning. So yeah, I highly recommend that as something that you should just have lying around the house. Next is a cream cleaner. I use the pink stuff because it is amazing. The pink stuff just is dead cheap. You can get it from like any bargain store, like Home Bargains, B&M, all that kind of stuff for like 99p. However, I think you can actually get it from like some supermarkets as well. But if you go onto somewhere like Amazon or something like that, generally they charge like a lot more money than you would pay in these sort of stores. And that doesn't make it better, the fact that you pay that money for it. Anyway, there are other cream cleaners available, not just the pink stuff. Cif is a good cream, I can't say that, cream cleaner. They should call it something else. They should call it grit cleaner or something. Cif is a good one. Barkeeper's Friend. Like there's quite a lot of examples of it out there. But cream cleaners tend to be quite good because they're not super runny. So you can put them on a surface, like rub them in, and they will just sit there and kind of like, you know, if you need to soak something, it'll give it that little bit of extra sort of sticking power. Generally speaking, cream cleaners are good. Got it that time. Because they've got a little bit of grit to them, so that when you're cleaning with them, it kind of acts as like a really, really gentle sandpaper. The pink stuff definitely does it, and all pink stuff products do that, have that really, really fine grit. So you've got to be careful. You can't use it on like delicate surfaces, like I wouldn't use it on walls and things like that, because it will just scrape away the paint and stuff. But you know, like if you're cleaning a bath or a hob or something like your cooker, anything that can withstand a little bit of extra abrasion, this stuff just works really well. The worst thing about it is rinsing it off. Rinse and clean it off is just an absolute pain in the butt. So if you're prepared for that, but cream cleaner is like a really good sort of next level cleaner than your all-purpose stuff. Next is, have you heard of magic erasers? I bet you have, because they're really good. But something else you can get instead is melamine sponges. So these are exactly the same as magic erasers, but like half of the price. So magic erasers are basically made of melamine, which is like melamine sponge, which is this. And basically it's kind of a lot of tiny minuscule fibers all like squished together. They do work, like if you've got marks on your walls or on your woodwork or things like that, these guys just kill it dead. But like the cream cleaner, they are abrasive, so if you're using this on like woodwork or anything like that, it kind of acts as like the finest grit sandpaper. So you have to be careful what surfaces you're using it on, because it will leave scratch. If you like go to town on it, will leave scratches behind. But melamine sponges are a lot cheaper than magic erasers, a lot cheaper, and do exactly the same thing. I tend to cut mine into squares, which is why I've got two different sizes. Like this is one that I haven't attacked yet, this is one that I have. I cut it into squares because what you're supposed to do is wet them a little bit and then use them, but when you do that, it kind of like erodes the sponge away. So I tend to cut mine into like small squares, the size that I think I'm going to need, rather than, you know, just wearing away at the whole sponge at a time. I just cut off a little bit and use that. So yeah, don't buy magic erasers, buy melamine sponges, it's cheaper. Next is masking tape. Everyone should have masking tape. It is the most superior form of tape. It sticks to pretty much everything. You can write on it. You can use it to mask off areas for painting. I have used this a ridiculous amount since I had, well, I've just always got some masking tape. But yeah, you can use it as a label because you can write on it. You can tear it with your fingers. It sticks to stuff. You know, there's nothing more to say about it really. It's just a really, really versatile form of tape, and I've just found it insanely useful since I've had some. I've just used it for about a million things. Next is safety glasses. Like these cost £2 and they are just safety glasses. It's just perspex that goes over your eyes, and you know, it's great if you're cleaning the ceiling, if you're doing any form of sanding, if you're drilling, if you're sawing, if you're doing anything that involves bits flying at your face. These guys, you should wear them, because even though safety doesn't look cool, it doesn't look cool either when you've got like half your eye dripping down your face because you've got something in it. Literally, for the sake of £2, and yes, I know it's plastic and we're trying to reduce plastic usage and stuff, but for the sake of £2, seriously, these could save your sight. So always safety first, always have safety glasses. It is really just a no-brainer. Next, we have one of my favourites. Everyone should own a plant. This is my rosemary. Plants are good for you, they're good for the soul. It smells good, this rosemary does. I've had this rosemary for ages. As you can see, I usually face it that way towards the window, which is why it's in a weird shape. I look after it as best I can do, but everybody should have plants, and I totally endorse having edible plants. Like, all of the plants that I've got in my house are edible. I've got some mint downstairs, and I've got some aloe vera as well, which isn't edible but is a useful medicinal plant nonetheless. So everybody should have a plant. Find the right plant for you. It might be edible, it might just be a spider plant, which is almost impossible to kill. Whatever, just find your soul plant. And those are things that everybody should own. Thank you for watching, and see you around.